Isabel yesterday had to bring her children first day at school, her youngest starting primary school. And, you know, so many parents are going through this and have gone through this and they remember all these things. And there's no big fuss. And then you've got the, what are they called, the Sussexes, the very people. And they seem to make such a big fuss about their security and whatever. And I'm not saying that's unjustified, but the contrast in the pictures that we're seeing here and the relaxed, relatively normal family life that the Cambridges seem to live.
Yes, well, I mean, the whole purpose of moving the family away from central London to Lambrook and into Berkshire was to enable them to actually have a more normal life and not grow up in this goldfish bowl that is Kensington Palace. And the contrast, of course, with the Sussexes is quite stark in that attitude. One are sort of cosseting and hiding their children away, and the other family want them to actually engage and become normal, productive members of society. And that's part of the school's ethos, actually, is to encourage social consciousness, encourage engagement, leadership, intelligence and curiosity.
And this school just 10 minutes from the Windsor Castle, the Greater Estate, which has, of course, got the cottage they've moved into, Adelaide Cottage, and also Frogmore Cottage, which is where the Sussexes have been staying since Saturday, I believe, since they've been in the UK, doing various bits and bobs. Interesting that they haven't met. Lots of has been made about the fact that the brothers haven't met up. But Omid Scobie now, who's sort of known as the mouthpiece, really, for the Duchess of Sussex, has come out and given his explanation for why the brothers haven't met. What's he been saying?
Yes, well, he says that Prince Harry is waiting for an apology from Prince William for perceived slights, alienating him, turning his back on him, and otherwise slandering him and his wife and making life difficult for them. I mean, you know, one has to say that the alternate reality of life on planet Sussex is actually quite stunning and remarkable at times. I don't see what Prince William has to apologise for. He's not the one married to, you know, a delusional drama queen who's intent on destroying the royal family in order to promote herself, and no matter who she damages in the process. He's not the one who's threatening to publish a tell-all memoir that's going to allegedly reveal allegations about the royal family and members and the institution itself. He's not the one taking his grandmother's government to court, and he's not the one who is snubbing invitations from his grandmother and from his father. You know, there's an old Bible quotation that says, "Hypocrite, you remove the plank from your own eye, and then you can remove the small speck from your brother's eye." And I think Prince Harry better go back to Sunday school.
Interesting. OK, well, look, since you mentioned the grandmother in all of this, worrying news from Balmoral. Doctors advising Her Majesty to take some extra rest and not get involved in the virtual Privy Council meeting today. What can we infer from that?
Well, it is discouraging after the very encouraging picture of a Queen looking in fine form when she met with Liz Truss at Balmoral recently. We had known that the Queen had pulled out, for example, of the Braemar Games, the Highland Games that she goes to every year. But there were other reports that she had been seen walking unaided without a walking stick with her corgis outdoors. So there were some signs of positivity there. We can't speculate too much. The doctor said she needs to take a rest. But what's interesting is this is, of course, is just a virtual meeting, and she didn't have to leave Balmoral for this meeting, and they still decided to cancel it.
So that makes it sound more serious.
It does sound more serious. Again, we shouldn't speculate, but Privy Council meetings happen every month. They've happened every month online now for a long time.
I believe this is particularly important because there was some sort of...
this is
endorsing, swearing in.
This is the kissing of hands. Also, I should say, Privy Council meetings traditionally are held standing up. The Queen doesn't stand up any longer, but the idea was to keep them moving quickly. But Liz Truss was going to be sworn in as First Lord of the Treasury.
She looks great there, so she does.
All of the ministers were going to be sworn in as well, so it's an important meeting. It has to take place, because these are the Queen's ministers, but it will be rescheduled.